Fourth, we have Dr. Abhijit Gangopadhyay, the Dean of Aegis School of Data Science. Welcome you, sir. We have Mr. Santosh Nair, the Managing Director, Global Industry Collaboration and Academic Strategies from Parul University. Welcome you, sir. We have Dr. Babita Kataria, the Honorary Director, Industry Academia Partnership Cell at Jamia Hamdard University. Ma'am, you're there.
Yes, I am there. Thank you so much.
Welcome you, ma'am. We have Professor Dr. P.S. Lokhande, the Head Training and Placement at Pillai College of Engineering. We welcome you, sir. And Mr. Bhupesh Daheria, the moderator for today's panel. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Anita. Thank you so much. And good afternoon and welcome, Dr. Gangopadhyay, Dr. Babita, Professor Lokhande, Mr. Santosh. Good afternoon to all of you.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Thank you so much for joining for this panel discussion. And this panel is, I don't know whether it is apt or not, but I know that, yes, all of you, you're expert because day and night you have been handling the challenges, and day and night you have been agile and coming up with multiple solutions of campus recruitment. So I think what we should do, all of us, we should share our opening remark for maybe a 30-second or 1 minute, your experiences. And then I'll start throwing the questions on you, and then we can really take it forward. To begin with you, Dr. Gangopadhyay, you would like to start? 1 minute, very brief introduction about your understanding in this area, your experience.
Thanks, Mr. Bhupesh. Bhupesh. I think it is wonderful to see that at this juncture you are thinking of, all are thinking about campus recruitment, its agileness. I think it was an unknown entity when we started my academic, so-called academic learning. I think our universities, institutes were hardly bothered about it. The term was unknown. It is an evolved concept. Through my career, my academic career, I ran into these type of issues when I joined, and it was really something different experiences. I think I am, by looking at your profile, I can understand my case was totally agile. At least my institute, wherever I have worked, be it IIMs, be it in XLRI, I think all these places I have seen that the corporates used to, or the employer used to come and ask what they want from our students. So for me, agileness means really proactive. And if that be so, then I think it was purely agile concept. Over the years, what has happened with the multiplicity of institutes, and I think people have started, and now all the people, day one itself, they started thinking where I'll be getting my employment. So we as an institutions, academic fraternity, really have to be concerned about it. I think today, nobody takes admission. Actually, our time there was a concept in India that we had an employment exchange. It has been abolished by government now. And therefore, I worked in that ministry for some time. Therefore, actually, academic institutions are not only for providing theoretical, practical inputs. Together with that, they have to provide need-based academic inputs so that the corporate find them useful. So agileness is a part of your entity. And therefore, I think it is very appropriate to discuss. My experiences were totally different because I used to work in institutes where people used to come and they used to get lots of insight from us how to recruit their candidates. So, but I think things have changed. I think nobody can claim today that I am on the driver's seat, neither the academic institution nor the corporates. So it's a mutual goal setting which has happened. And I feel that now time has come for you to really integrate that. So for example, you can't teach anything, you can train anybody on something which does not lead for employment. So you are all familiar with this inter-accreditation system. Now, more than anything, they want what is the placement profile you have. And I think I don't know some of you, but many of the institutions, some of your institutions, but many of the institutions which you are representing are probably quite proactive. So I define this proactivity in terms of interfacing the corporates is a major agenda for today's discussions. And my experience is that I think unless you do it, you don't exist. Thank you, Abhijit.
So, Dr. Lokhande, you have been in this field for so long, right? And you have seen the challenges which are there in Maharashtra area and specifically in Bombay. So what kind of, say, top 4 or 5 challenges which comes in your mind, the training and placement officers or college faces in terms of employment?
There are, okay, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. If we consider the colleges, so the challenges in front of the training and placement officer, I will divide it into 2 parts. One is the training and placement officer in the metro cities, Pune, Mumbai, Nasik, Nagpur, and rest of the TPOs of the rest of the parts, that is like non-metro cities. So in the non-metro cities, the TPOs are largely struggling with the infrastructure in terms of conduction of online tests, then infrastructure like for training the students and all this stuff. Secondly, the exposure to the students from the rural area is like very less, like they are lagging into the language part, communication part. So these are some of the biggest hurdles or biggest challenges that will be faced by the training and placement officers. Now in the metro city area, we have another set of challenges. Our students are over smart. Sometimes they are like very much like cleared and focused about, and they just wanted to try and test the things. They wanted to sit for one company. They were like placed over there, and again they wanted, no, I wanted to try another one. So here the list of problem and issues and challenges are like something different. So these are the 2 like major challenges apart from all other traditional challenges that I face over here.
Thank you, Dr. Lokhande. You have brought down on very basic level, ground level challenges. I'm sorry, we also have Dr. Sarangi from Maulana Azad College University from West Bengal. Dr. Sarangi, can you please switch on your video? Or if you can switch on your audio, please. I think he's facing some issue. Okay, so while he's fixing up issue, let me come down to Mr. Nair. So, yeah, okay, glad.
Hi.
Good to see you, Dr. Sarangi.
Good.
So continuing to what Professor Lokhande said, did you hear what Lokhande sir said? So Dr. Lokhande described about 2 challenges which colleges are facing. Remote area, they don't have the basic infrastructure to even conduct the online examination or other stuff. The other challenge is students lack in skills, which could be comm skill, aptitude skill, technical skills. These are the 2 challenges which Professor Lokhande has highlighted. What is your views, Dr. Sarangi, because you handle the eastern part, West Bengal, which is pretty diverse. Other than say Kolkata, other colleges may or may not be having the basic infrastructure. Or what are the challenges you see?
Good afternoon, Bhupesh sir. A very happy Vijaya Dashami and Shubha Vijaya to all people who are in the panelists. My observation is that after the COVID phase has gone, means the past 5 to 6 months, we have started off with online from offline to offline campusing mode. And so, though IT companies are preferring online mode itself, but for other core companies and things like that, offline campuses have started. And in colleges in West Bengal, we have around 200 affiliated colleges. So for them also, I have talked to the various placement officers, and there also in our colleges also we have started with offline campusing for many like Capgemini and things like and companies like that. IBM, they have conducted offline campuses. So we have now switched to both online offline mode, and placement is of less challenging than it was in the COVID times. So this is one of the good factors that companies are back to campus. We have been able to bring companies back to campus. So I think with this advent of technology in the online mode also, so we are just means going around with both online and offline mode as per the suitability of the company.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So, Mr. Santosh, you handle one of the largest private universities. Uh, uh, what do you think? What are the major challenges private universities or in general? What are the key challenges you folks face in terms of campus placement?
Yeah, so a very good afternoon, Mr. Bhupendra and all the dignitaries present out here. First of all, I'm very thankful for inviting me to this particular panel discussion. Now, I'm very sure that the challenges are going to be very common to all the colleges and universities across the country. The first challenge, what I feel is the mindset and attitude of the students, right? Now, this is a challenge which is a perennial problem, right? It is not that whether it is in this batch, it has been, because I've been into training and placement since last 10 years. Before that, I had worked into corporates. And when I started interacting with the students, it's like before the student gets a good job, they are always feeling less confident till the time they get an offer, right? But once they get an offer, they are so much confident that they can crack any company in this world, right? And that's the reason that once they get a good package, they would definitely come to us and they will say that, sir, we want to sit for other companies also. And that's the reason that the good student will always keep on getting offers if we allow them to sit for multiple drives, right? Now, the challenging part out here is whenever there are good companies which are coming onto the campus, we obviously want our best students to sit for the same, right? And every time the best student, definitely once he or she sits for the drive, they are able to grab an offer, right? And when the next time when a very good company comes, as compared to what it came before, we don't have any option than to make these place students to sit again, right? So, and that is where the students start taking advantage. At the same time, so that is actually a constraint at our end, so we cannot blame the students. But then, yeah, over a period of time, it has brought a shift in the culture as well, right? So students are always aiming to get higher and higher packages, and that is where we tend to explain the student that this is not the end of your career, right? This is the beginning of your career. So once you are beginning your career, it is very important that you choose in which profile you want to get yourself placed, rather than choosing the package in which you are going to get placed, right? So this is one of the things. Second problem is, I would say, the communication part. I am very sure that most of the people out here would agree on that. Because most of the companies, if I talk about multinational companies, they want candidates who are excellent in communication. And in India, the bunch of students who are really excellent in communication are very limited, right? So they are, let's say, hardly 25 to 30% of the students. And the students who are technically very sound, they might not be very fluent in English, or they might not be very excellent in their communication skills. So that is also one of the challenges. And the students who are really doing well in their, let's say, technical side, they usually are not aware that how important communication skills, soft skills and other skill sets are required apart from the technical knowledge. And by the time they realize this thing, it is too late, right? They come into the final year and then they start realizing that the students who are very good at communication, they have a better probability of getting selected as compared to a 9.5 pointer or 9 pointer, right? So that is again a second point which we try to train the students right from the first semester, but then the students don't take it seriously in the initial years. And by the time they come in the final year, then they immediately realize that, okay, I've missed the bus and I need to catch up those things in order to get a better offer. Then the third part is, I would say that there is intense competition right now in the market that has actually increased the expectation of the companies as well. Because a lot of private universities coming into play, and you can see so many edtech companies. After this pandemic scenario, there are so many edtech companies which are coming up with brilliant training programs, right? So that is actually forcing each and every student and the colleges also to raise their bar, right? So the benchmark which was set before and which is being set right now, there is a vast difference, right? Previously, we used to train the students, let's say for TCS, Infosys, and Cognizant. And now the students don't bother to sit in these companies, right? Because they want to work in a product-based companies. They want a package which is minimum 15 lakhs or 20 lakhs, right? So, and that is because the companies have started getting those kind of talent because thanks to the edtech companies, which are coming up with really rigorous training, right? And I can see that most of the largest private universities, they are doing 1,000 hours of trainings apart from the regular curriculum, right? So now the bar is being raised year on year, right? Or maybe rather month on month, right? And every private university is also forced to ensure that their students are being trained at the highest possible level so that they can get the best of the packages. The fourth point is, as rightly mentioned, that after this pandemic, most of the companies are now choosing to go online for their recruitment process, in spite of the fact that they have the choice to come offline and recruit the students, but then it is really cost effective to conduct an online process, right? Because previously I used to remember when TCS used to conduct the drive, there used to be 30 people coming as a part of the panel, right? So their accommodation, their transport, their traveling, food, everything, it used to cost like very heavily. And now the TCS, Infosys kind of companies, they have conducted one online test, which is common for all the colleges, right? And from that itself, they are choosing the students or selecting the students. So what is happening is sometimes this online process is not actually justifiable. Because of the network issues. Even I am currently facing network issues, right? Because I was traveling today. So now I'm not in the office. So I can see that just to attend a meeting also, so you need to have a good network. So you can imagine what kind of challenges the students must be facing if they don't have a proper network and they are appearing for one of the companies which is a dream company for them. So I think these are the major few challenges. The challenges are even more. But just to submit it at this point of time, I would say that these are the major challenges that the university and the students are facing.
Thank you, Mr. Nair. I think you have elaborated the wide range of challenges and you have also given some kind of solutions as well. And one of the major challenge you're saying about mindset, and I'm seeing mindset issue is even since the days when we were doing engineering, right? So for last 20-25 years, the mindset has not changed. Rather, I think these new age kids, they have a better mindset than what we used to have. They are much more career conscious. Of course, they want to really grab better offers, and that's what our job is, to facilitate them. But this should not become a greed, and this should not become, say, counterproductive. So India should not become like a unaffordable destination. It should always, I'm not proponent of low cost destination, but it should not be very high cost destination. We should not lose business to Eastern European countries, which are offer very competitive rates and much better software development product. But that's what my fear is, and you must be seeing this fear from other companies as well, that the salaries has skyrocketed. Each candidate is having 4 or 5 or 10 offers. And I think to save our brand, you also highlighted that, yes, we have compulsion to really push our best candidate in every company, good company, so that we don't lose the brand. But that's kind of a vicious circle. So, and I am really happy that, yes, you're offering a lot of training to students so that each student can really improve their benchmark, and which is a good scenario that these edtech companies has forced traditional academic universities to improve the quality. The benchmark has improved, the expectation from the market has improved, which is putting a pressure on us, but mediocrity will not survive. So it's only the best will really survive. But I will come back to this communication part, which has been bothering me for the last 25-30 years. Now, I also run a software company, and since you told that you also worked in corporate, and Professor Lokhande has also worked in corporate, I think, right, this is my personal opinion, that communication skill is overemphasized, and we often tend to mix communication skill with ability to speak English. And I got software developed with a lot of Ukrainians, Russians, Polish, and they don't speak good quality English. They can't spell please. They write please as a P-L-I-S, please. But they write at least 100 times better code than the average Indian. Not to demean Indian coders are really best, but I'm talking about average benchmarking. Cost is also low. Perhaps they have focused more on developing their technological competency rather than over obsessing with the English, not trying to undermine English, but not every software developer has to customer face. Like in my company, hardly 1% software developer has to face customers, right? So while 99% don't have to face the customer, why the hell they need to really learn English? Rather, they spend that time in terms of brushing up their tech skills. And I think that's where the academia need to really put its feet down and show their resistance to the corporate. But that has kind of become a benchmark. You go to any company in Bombay, they speak Marathi. If you go to Ahmedabad, most of them, they must be talking Gujarati while they're conversing with each other. So why we are so obsessed about English? With this note, let me come back, bring Dr. Babita. Dr. Babita, you're handling one of the largest universities, Jamia Hamdard University in NCR. What are your views on this communication aspect and perhaps on other challenges which you're facing?
Thank you, Bhupesh sir, and it is very nice that you have invited us on this platform. And definitely it is a pain point also, and it is a happy point also that we are listening each other and taking care of all the points and keeping in consideration all the points. I will just say that communication is yes, it is a challenge, but definitely what you have said, that every developer cannot speak English. And we cannot make a benchmark of English that if the English is right or if the English is correct, then only he's the best coder or he can be an employable person. So definitely I am going through this university, and as it is a Muslim university also, and definitely in the cultures, there is a culture difference, and there are people who are not able to speak a single line of proper English also. But definitely they are very good coders and they are recruited by very good companies. And I always tell them that you should able to communicate, whether you are talking about in Hindi, whether you are talking in English, but at least you should communicate properly. And I have seen the result also in the past. So we cannot say that English is only the language from where we can communicate. So definitely the words, the technology and everything plays a great role if you have technically, but if you are not able to speak, then it is wrong. Right. When you're not able to explain, you're wrong. Then again, the challenges which I think my good fellows all have discussed about the challenges. Definitely, we are also facing the same challenges because the network is remote areas. There is a problem of network, but in the urban estates there are no problem because we are in Delhi. So we are not facing that problem too much. But definitely, the students are coming from different locations from the village areas also. So during your classes also, during your campus placement also, because we are taking online campuses, so the students are facing this problem that they are not having a network. And because of this, they are not able to participate properly. I will say like that. But definitely we have told them that please give us a message that you are in such a remote area or something where the companies are accommodating them and they are being interviewed on the next day fine, where they are in the proper network. So this is a solution we have taken out. But definitely this is a major problem of network. And then again, the students are not coming to the colleges because fourth year, as all of us know, that they will only come for 1 day or 2 days. So because they are preparing for themselves, and actually they are not preparing for campus, they are not preparing for higher studies, they are not preparing for themselves. So we need to bring these students back to the university, because everywhere, because the parents are also facing that no, the students will have, or the candidates will have corona or something like that. But definitely by precautions we can protect. We are also coming to colleges, we are also facing so many people face to face, and we are interacting with so many with the people around us. So why we are not having corona? So this need to be understood by the parents also. They should send their students to the colleges, because today morning only I was teaching the student, I was talking to the students that if you will not come to the college, you will not become productive. You are not going to be dynamic. Your activities will be like, you will be sluggish. You're sitting at home, you're not taking bath, you're not taking anything else, you're sitting on the bed. So what is the activity you people are doing? Come in the college and have activity. So this challenge, we have to teach them. So this is the main problem. Then again, because they are sitting at home, they are not doing brainstorming sessions. They are not talking to each other. So again, they are becoming they are not productive. I'm saying they are not productive. If my product is not productive, how can I place them? So this is the biggest challenge which I am facing. Students have different set of mind. I understand. Student want higher package. I understand. Student want to sit in every company, multiple offers. I understand. I will allow each and everything. But you have to come to the college. You have to become dynamic. This is the only communication I want to, because every point has been discussed. So I don't want to repeat all those points. Thank you so much.
So, Dr. Babita, you hit on the nail. So this this is a big issue which I think Mr. Nair has also pointed out. It's a mindset. I want everything, right? I want India to give me everything, but I will not do anything for the India. What Prime Minister has done for me, but what I have done for the country, nobody thinks about that. So I think that's where we educator has to really think and push, but this is quite challenging. I don't have any solution. But that's where the culture will play a major role. But there are some practical issues which we have seen in final year. They take excuses that they are preparing for the campus recruitment, and they skip classes. These are some harsh realities which we need to really understand. And these realities are there even top elite institutions in India. I thought COVID is over. Most of the institutions, at least in Bombay, are not facing this problem that students are not coming to college. Coming to Dr. Lokhande, most of the companies want to really do a online virtual campus, which Dr. Babita has pointed out, right? And Mr. Nair has also pointed out that it is one of the cost-effective. We used to really do the campus recruitment. So I remember when Capgemini approached me and Hexaware approached me almost 15 years back. And in fact, we did one drive in Pillai only, right? So we did Hexaware drive for 5,000 candidates. If Hexaware had to do this drive by themselves, they need to bring in their 100 people. Right. And when each person is drawing a 25-30 lakh rupee salary, even per hour cost is going to be huge, even if they do at their own. Right. And that's where this automated computer-based testing actually played a much effective role. And this I'm talking about 2006. So within 24 hours, we could really shortlist 200 candidates. They further interviewed and they extended offer to 120 candidates. So that level of efficiency online tools can really bring in. But coming back to you, COVID has forced everybody to come on virtual campus recruitment worldwide, not only in India. So are you seeing that this trend will continue, or people will go on hybrid, some part online and some part on campus?
No,
What trends you're seeing?
Yeah, post-COVID, we thought now companies will be coming in the campus and will conduct the aptitude test in the campus. No, they are coming in the campus for the pre-placement talk,
Okay.
interacting with the student,
Mhm.
answering their question. But whenever the time of the test comes, so they said, okay, sir, it will be online. Capgemini still they are coming in my campus and they said, sir, the complete placement process will be virtual and one particular platform. So Manala, now it is like COVID is gone. We have like 700 computers. We can like in a single go we can have the test. No, sir. We have that particular software, and based on that software we can get all the results and everything, sorting, interviewing, and we there is no need to invite and call our technical expert from their locations. So,
Right.
so from their office they can conduct the interview. So we assign 2 to 3 candidate to one particular staff member. And in the office hour or lunchtime, they will conduct the interview. That will be cost effective. So this is what they move towards the automation of the various processes. So sorting of the candidate, then resume sorting, then identifying the crowd based on their skill, preparing the list of students, then ranking through on the basis of aptitude, then ranking on the basis of interviews and all this performance, and it will be easy. So they are going to save the time. Obviously, they are going to save the money. So most major the big companies, they are stick with this type of online mode.
Okay. So you're saying that some companies have permanently adopted to virtual mode, and some companies have gone hybrid, put part of the process online and part which is pre-placement talk for building up a brand, they are on the hybrid mode. So what do you think, Dr. Sarangi, is this trend is going to continue? What kind of trend you're observing in West Bengal, in your university?
My observation is that with the advent of latest technologies and with the online system, is that companies preferring the online system. But the thing is that in online, there are various questions also related to the selection problems, and whether you are the question of ethics and things like come out. Where in some companies they have complained that in online some students have taken to unfair means and things like that. So now the question is that with the advent of technology, we are definitely in the online mode. But the main aspect is that more students' participation and should be there in the offline mode, and more students should be encouraged to come in the campus for the online, for the tests and everything. So that there is a total interaction with the employer and the students who will get employed in a mode that is the offline mode. So I think more participation of companies is required in the university campus, so that we are going back to post-COVID time. The COVID has already reduced about 70 to 80%. So it's more or less COVID is not there in India now, apart from some UAE and some countries, it is still prevalent. So I think with this post-COVID environment, I think more and more companies should switch to offline mode and encourage students to participate in offline campusing, so that more and more selections also can be done. Because in offline, one thing I've observed that in offline campusing mode, selection is much better than in online campusing mode, because students can have a whole lot of prospect of they get more chances of and their energy levels also shoot up while the company is giving a pre-placement talk and everything like that. And whereas in online mode, it doesn't happen because everything is in proctored mode, and they are most of them are giving them from their college hostels or from their home. So the feel of the campusing is not there in the online mode, which is there in the offline mode. So I prefer offline mode because it increases the number of selectors. It also gives the confidence level a boost to the students for attending further interviews. That's my observation.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, of course, as a training and placement officer, you will always prefer that offline interaction. Recruiters come, interact with the candidate, and that will further improve the selection and confidence of the candidate. Now, there is one of the most important aspect for improving your selection is to bring more number of companies. And of course, there are multiple tools to really bring more to reach to more companies, but bringing companies on the campus, and one of the most important factor which plays a role is the brand of the education institution, university or college, right? And you are the brand ambassador. You build the brand, you convince, right? But only plain talk does not really build the brand. Dr. Gangopadhyay, over to you, sir. You have been in helm of the top institutions, IIMs, XLRI, it is, right? And still most of the institutions look at IIMs and XLRI than it is for the pinnacle of the placement, campus recruitment. What do you think, what it takes to build brand? Can you really achieve in a short term, or do you have to really have a long-term perspective in that? What are the various components which will help to build a brand of institution?
Thanks, Bhupesh. I think it is wonderful to listen to the concerns of my colleagues here. But two things which all may not agree or may not be applicable to them. First of all, I have seen how the institutes build the brand. There, the entire placement activity is coordinated by the students. They have they elect representative of the placement committee, and they, along with the faculty, I think basically, if you really want me to be very emphatic, the placement is basically an academic faculty driven process. So when I was a director, dean, professor, my job was to see and ensure that my institute brands are made. So I think I know it is that type of resources may not be possible, but if it is possible, then only you can build a brand. Believe me, all the professors of the IIMs are actively participating in building brands. So if you don't go for that way, and the students, I think we had a core group of students who used to go to the organizations to present the company, institute, and thereby the brands was built. And if it can be, if you don't do it that way, you see, TPO or the placement office is only an infrastructure. I think if you leave everything on them, I don't think they will be able to function. We have placement cell, we have a placement coordinator from the administration side, but we used to do it. And therefore, placement is a student and faculty driven activity. If you can't make it, and I know I have some experience of the quality of students you get. So therefore, it is very difficult to get a experiential understanding from the good institutes and bad or so-called not so known institutes in terms of branding. So if the students are not at all participating, see, the problem was there that the student may not come to class, but when it comes to the placement or corporate interactions, they used to be the forerunner. My experience is totally dissimilar than what you have said, what is being discussed. But I do agree, this reality is also there, and majority cases, this is the reality. So my request to you, you have to integrate them. It can't be, the faculty members should actually facilitate, or at least they should be there to promote the placement activity. Students never come for the classes. I have seen that experience is there in best of the colleges, but they come extensively during the placement committee. And essentially involvement of the juniors in terms of the placement of seniors was a very effective strategy, because I happen to be placement coordinator, whether you call me a TPO, but I was a professor, I was a dean. Now the question is that I used to integrate them in the total process. And the juniors used to learn from the seniors how to facilitate the placement processes. It is a totally participative process. And my colleagues, I think, should at least, they can't be totally blaming themselves that no company is coming. It's very difficult to create a brand by which the corporate will really look upon you and then come there. So this is my submission. And if you can't do it, the student can't be a party carrier. So they should involve. They should understand what they do actually reflects on them. It is very difficult, say for example, I don't know when they come for the why the corporates are coming, because I am aware of many of the corporates recruitment, campus recruitment program. They are coming to see how good is the students are, the questions which are asked, which cannot be done virtually. So don't think that they are generous in coming and visiting your institute. Therefore, it is another way of creating a draw share of an institutions. So the questions which are asked, the understanding of the corporate which are visiting them, how much the students are aware, all these things are collected. Data is generated through this process. So my request to you, at some way or other, when it comes to their cultural activity, you have never seen them that of interest. But why it is happening in terms of the campus recruitment process, you must look inside. Each institute will have a different problem. But whether you have the infrastructure, whether you are remotely located or in this city, this is an universal phenomenon I have seen. I understand that it can't be, nothing can be successful without involving the ultimate group. And the ultimate group is not the TPO, but the students. They should realize that what I am trying to tell you there, you have to develop ownership in them. And we are successful in getting these exclusive club components, primarily because of the student initiative. See, the professors are all equal. I think in our country, with my experiences of working in several institutions, I can assure you they are as good or as bad as all of us. So faculty can't be a miracle, and the institute can't also have a miracle. I think today, many of the new institutions' infrastructure are much better than old institution infrastructure. I, being a student of IIT, I feel ashamed the type of infrastructure even today we have. I think I am also a member of the placement committee in this placement group of one of the IITs. But I think I also keep telling the students, unless you come forward, a culture is built and you cannot achieve. You can't leave it to everything on others. And this is my only request. I think probably at some point of time you will find. I have been in worked in the universities across some part of the world. I have seen them, the type of interest they have. You see, and the students gets totally involved because they should understand it is for their well-being. Why I am attending this webinar? Primarily because to learn from you, because I'm really interested in the academic world's happening. So it is my interest. I think Mr. Bhupesh can't bring him here if I am not interested. You are all coming because you are interested. So please understand that. And that was the only submission to all of you, and hope that you will you can really make some impact in your organizations, in the institutions. Otherwise, there is no problem.
Sir. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and experience that beneficiary need to take the ownership. The horse need to participate in drinking water process. The beneficiary, if beneficiary doesn't take the ownership, and I think that will at some level will change the mindset, and this brand and culture building goes hand in hand. And I think I witnessed this culture almost 10 days back, a week back, and it was amazing to see how Professor Lokhande has built culture in Pillai College of Engineering. When all the students, they organized the entire conference and they were managing the campus placement, and Professor Lokhande was calmly was part of the panel discussion in tech which we organized. So coming back to Professor Lokhande, to you, and then I will take it forward with Mr. Nair to you. How do you really build this culture? Because top institutions, IITs and IIMs, the culture has been built. This culture passes on from senior to junior. And I have seen in REC Bhopal and IIT, where I studied, this comes from generation to generation. But new age institutions, how do you really build this culture? And how did you build in Pillai College of Engineering?
So this is like the classical problem. So when you wanted to like bring a bunch of students, so sometimes they work like a miracle, or sometimes it will be like a maze. So I started with one motto, and then only I took the interested student, nurture them, mentored them, and then gave them the full liberty. And I told them ki you are the owner of all this activity and the process. If there is a success, credit is yours. If there is a failures, my responsibility. So don't bother about the failures. Don't bother about any something is happening. So that will I will take the responsibility. So they are like fearless. Secondly, then I assign the job. Ki, okay, your job is to like escort the dignitaries from the gate, from security gate to the venue or to the any other thing. So full day you are only doing these particular jobs. So I identified the interest of the student, those who are very much interested into the food arrangement, some are very interested into the anchoring, mic and all these things. And then I given full liberty and complete, even if I never ever interfere the script written by the student. So whatever the script during the anchoring they are writing, so I never ever interact. If they come up with me, sir, any advice or any suggestion, then I will look after. Otherwise, I will never ever look after that. Secondly, then when the first committee I established, so only 2 students were there. I got only 2 productive and really interested students. Next year, I gave the responsibility to these 2 students to bring like-minded students into the committee, and the full liberty is given to them to recruit the committee members. So I said, I'm not going to recruit the committee members. You are going to recruit the committee members. It's your responsibility. So now the ownership is on them. So they recruited 6 students. And out of 6, only 4 will be like permanent member, 2 will be just for the namesake. And then again, this 4 student again recruited the rest. Now it is a complete team of like 100 students and 25 committee of 25 students and ad hoc member of 100 students. So we handled the placement drive of 3,000 students, 5,000 students single-handedly without any police or security support. So they were very much trained into that. And now every year the recruitment starts. So they recruit second year, third year student. The moment the student went into the final year, so they will be aside, they will leave all their posts, and these posts were given to the third year students, and they are into the mentoring role. And final year student passed out. The third year student, when they into the final year, they again recruit the lower first year, second year batches. And this tradition is now it is completely streamlined. So I am no longer to look at their activities or recruitment process or interview, the selection process. No, the complete ownership and responsibility is given to them.
I think we should organize a separate master class how to build a culture.
Right,
We should invite you for that.
Sure.
Coming to you, Mr. Nair, you're on the helm of affair of one of the largest university, and don't feel offended. You're running like a placement factory, right? Thousands and thousands of students and inviting hundreds of companies. 2 questions for you. How are you building up a culture? One. The second, how you're managing the multiple knobs of this placement factory, right? Thousands of candidates, hundreds of companies, how you're managing it?
Yeah, so first of all, thanks for the compliment. So it's like we understand that private universities, definitely they are coming up with big numbers, right? The intake is huge. But then there are certain reasons also behind that, right? So we'll discuss it later on. But now see, coming on to the culture part, wherever let's say the population is huge, right? If we talk about the country like India also, right? Every time we keep on criticizing that India में वो culture नहीं है जो abroad में है, right? So every time we keep on discussing this thing, we criticize on this, that Indians when they are in India they behave differently, when they go to US, automatically they behave differently, right? They follow all the rules, norms, and everything. And we are really surprised to see that this is the same Indian who was spitting on the roads, right? And now in US, he is a very, very polished guy and taking care of all the norms and regulations and rules and everything. Now, see, to come up with a culture, what I feel is, first of all, it is very important that what is the vision of the organization, right? So when we talk about brand building, so brand building depends on that what kind of product or services you are planning to offer to the society or to the industry as a whole, right? So as we say that the education is built on 3 pillars, right? One is the research, second is innovation, and third is employability. Unfortunately, in India, the most of the educational institutes, they are focusing more on employability itself, right? Rather than research and innovation. The reason being that culture has never developed, right? If I leave IISCs and IITs or NITs to mention that as well, because they are getting good amount of funding from the government, right? And they are actually built on this basis itself, that research is one of the primary objectives for these institutes, and with that objective only these institutes were built, right? They are the Institute of Eminence, Institute of Excellence, right? And these also were built taking into consideration the most premium universities outside India, right? So when Jawaharlal Nehru was there, so they also thought that why don't we have these kind of institutes in India, right? The world-class institutes, why can't we set up? And that's why these IITs and IISCs and all these institutes were being made. Now, but coming on to the private universities, which is actually lacking on the government funding part, right? But still, research is one of the, I would say, foremost criteria if you want to get good grading in NAC or NBA or NIRF or all those such things, right? But then to do research also, you require a lot of funding, you require a lot of money, right? And that is where the private universities actually suffer. And if I talk about Gujarat also, there is a fee regulation committee, right? So even if you want to provide with the best of the research facilities, best of the infrastructure, the government will not allow you to increase your fees also to a certain extent. Because it is depending on the state government, right? So in Gujarat particularly, you cannot charge more, but at the same time, if you want to compete at national level, you will be required to provide those kind of facilities, research facilities, employability, and everything, good companies and all those things. But now coming on to building the culture, based on the vision of the organization, it is very important that you have a very, very strong and robust system in place, right? How do we build a culture? You can build a good culture the way you want by ensuring that the students are always on track, and whenever they get deviated, you immediately prompt them and you bring them back on the track, right? So for that, it is very important that you define the track first, right? You define the system first. What kind of system you want to lay down, and what kind of system you want the students to follow. And everything is about inculcating habits, right? Now we are currently talking about the mindset and the culture and the, let's say, thought process of the students and the attitude of the student. That is because we most of the organizations in India, private universities, if I say, we don't have a strong system, right? Which will actually ensure that the students are, let's say, following the path that we want to, right? If you give freedom, right, so students are definitely going to deviate. They are going to do anything that they want. It is not the fault of the student. I'll give you a very simple example, which I always quote to the students also. If you go to Shirdi Sai Baba Mandir, right, you will see that there is a railing, right? And that railing is a zigzag path, a snake kind of path that you have to follow, and then only you can reach and you can worship the god, right? But now let's say if I don't keep these kind of barricades, or if I don't keep this kind of boundary, if there is no line, if there is no let's say boundaries we define, the people will barge in. They will follow no rules. Even the best of the people, the person who is really very literate, who is following very good systems at his office or at his home or at his organization, but still once he lands up here, he will behave like other people only, because there is no system in place. So if you want to build a culture, it is very important that you need to have a strong system. And the system will be defined based on the vision that you have for the organization. If I want the students to have, let's say, the best of the, or I want to create the best of the employed students, or employability has to be at their highest level, then I need to define things. For that, I'll be required to define checkpoints right from the first semester itself. And
Right.
that is what we actually do. We identify the requirement of the industry. We identify the requirement whether the student wants to go for abroad or he wants to go for entrepreneurship. So based on the aspiration of the student, we lay down the guidelines, right? And we try to ensure that we give proper direction to the students right from the first year itself. Right. So it doesn't make sense that if a student is planning to go abroad, you keep on making him work for the company which is going to come in the campus in the final year. Right. Rather, I would want him to spend more time in clearing IELTS, TOEFL, GRE, and all those kind of exams. At the same time, maybe the internship would be one of the areas where which will be helpful to him after completion of his what kind of objective you want to achieve, and how sooner you can implement these things, or you can let's say bring the students onto those track right from the first year itself. So that is one of the things. And so I'm sorry, you asked one more question. I missed on that.
So I asked you, so I think I got partly answer that you seems to have very strong, robust system, which collects the data, which collect the aspirations of the candidate, which is also helping you to percolate your vision down, right? Which is also helping you to build your brand and the culture. My question was like how you're managing this massive operations of campus recruitment.
Right. So what we have done is we have, let's say, definitely team of managers, training and placement managers that we have institute-wise. Apart from that, we also have faculty coordinators and student coordinators as well. Right. So as rightly said by a couple of the panel members, that it is very important that you involve students and you inculcate ownership in them. Right. So why not to put it in front of the students itself, that what they want to do. And a student interacting with the student is much more effective conversation and the communication rather than a faculty interacting with the student, right? Many times the student might want to feel good or create an impression in front of the faculty, and that's why he would only try to say the things which is good. Right, he would not try to say the things which he actually wants to do. Right. So what we do is from the first year itself, we have the list of student coordinators that we identify, and from those coordinators we promote them in the second year and third year who are really performing good. So what these students do is they continuously take the requirement from the rest of the class, right, rest of the students who are there, and continuously they give us feedback as well. At the same time, whatever kind of activities and events that we want to percolate among the students, right? So we try to do it through these student coordinators itself. So that is one of the part wherein we try to create awareness among the students, sensitize them about the placement and other career opportunities to the students, and give them a direction that how they can prepare even if they want to go for further studies or placements or entrepreneurship or something. Apart from that, bringing the companies, we have a team which is definitely there in the market as well, right? So we identify the key markets across the country, right? And we put our people over there who try to get the best of the companies which are relevant to the course that the student. Hello, yeah, am I audible?
Yes. You're breaking in between.
Yeah. So what we keep as a let's say prime focus is that we constantly interact with the industries, right? So I am currently handling 4 verticals. So it's not only the placement cell that I'm heading, right? So I'm heading training and placement cell, I'm heading career development cell, I'm heading industry academia partnership cell, and I'm also heading international placement and industry collaboration. Now we are having 4 departments which is continuously engaging with the industries throughout the year. So it's not only that we just go and talk to the companies for placements on internship, because we know, as rightly said by Dr. Gangopadhyay as well, that placement is just an outcome, right?
Right.
Main thing is the education. The kind of education, the quality of education that you impart decides that what kind of placements the student is going to get, right? And similarly, the kind of placement that the student gets, that will define that what kind of quality of education has been imparted to the student, right? What kind of exposure the student has taken throughout his tenure of this thing, whatever course he has chosen. So throughout the year, we constantly engage the companies in with respect to, let's say, expert sessions, industry visits, board of industry advisor, work integrated programs, executive development programs, and a lot of other stuff. Right. So wherein we try to get in touch with as many companies as possible in India and abroad as well. So currently we are in touch with more than 15,000 corporates across the country itself. Right. And that's the reason that we are able to bring more than 1,300 to 1,400 companies every year. So that was the basic strategy that we follow.
Wonderful, Mr. Nair. Thank you so much for laying down, sharing your idea about placement factory. Wish you my best wishes and congratulations for managing this massive affair. I think we're reaching to the closer of this panel discussion. We had a wonderful, exciting discussion, and a lot of points came up, right from ground level difficulties in terms of not having internet connection, not having the basic facility. The mindset is, of course, a challenging proposition. Even though we'll push that, take a student, those who are not good at English, but the ground reality is companies are still open for hiring those who are good at English. I would not call it a common skill. But the trend is changing. I met Mr. Dhar, who's the CHRO of Motilal Oswal. And in my first meeting, he told me, Bhupesh, I don't want anybody who speaks English. I want people don't have to visit office. They all will be remotely working and not speaking English. I said that's quite a welcoming statement. It's not that he hates English. Is that these developers don't have to speak English. They have to just simply develop good software, write good code. So that's changing, and a good perspective which is given by Dr. Babita, Dr. Sarangi, Dr. Gangopadhyay shared his almost 5 decades of wisdom and experience about how do we really build culture, how do we build brand for long-lasting outcome of placement, because technology and other things can really, technology is the easiest thing to really bring in board, but not the attitude, not the behavior. Sir, final parting note from you, sir.
No, there are nothing for me from me about the parting note. We are all in the problem. So my request to you, I think to all of them, I don't know why it is said that English communication skill is required. I don't think even in the almost all the top employment also, I think nobody wants them to speak in English. I think if they are comfortable with that, I think basically you are interviewing is a reflection. So please give confidence to your students that you speak in your own language. I think we are none of us are actually, it is not our language, and therefore too much emphasis on speaking English is unnecessarily high. And I think this has to be somehow people have to be told, and people are also appreciating. So I think you cannot break the confidence of the students by telling you don't know English. And if they are capable, and I think we can, there is always an effort being made from all academic institutions to have an additional courses on English. I think it should be now more on Chinese, Mandarin, or other things. I don't know, but I think this obsession has to go at some point of time, and let us not take the responsibility of it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Professor Lokhande. Thank you, Professor Gangopadhyay, Mr. Nair. Yeah, Dr. Babita, you want to say something? Yeah, please.
Yeah. I just want to add one thing.
Yeah.
So only 1 minute line only, that everyone is not perfect. So we just move towards perfection, but we are not perfect. So don't mind, do your work and the results will be there. So this
Right.
is my
Wonderful,
submission.
wonderful. Dr. Sarangi, any parting note?
Oh, it's a very nice discussion with lot of inputs from Professor Santosh Nair from Parul University, Babita Madam from Dr. P.S. Lokhande sir from Pillai College of Engineering, and definitely from Dr. Abhijit Gangopadhyay, and also a lot of inputs from you, sir. So it was a very nice, coordinated, very nice moderated panel discussion.
Thank you. Thank you so much for
You all.
joining, and hope to
Thank
meet
you.
you sometime in physical world beyond this virtual world.
Thank
So
you so
I have
much.
an assignment.